Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're watching this. I am about to review and draw for you an elevation from this floor plan. And we're going to be drawing the elevation of the rear wall of the kitchen, and we will also be drawing this wall between the interior finished wall and the other side of the interior finished wall. I know you can't see it on my floor plan. I will show it to you later, but this is the way I have to set up my camera right now. So since we're drawing a floor plan of this back wall, we really don't need any of this extra information. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of bond paper, or you can use tracing paper, whichever you prefer. And we want to avoid the island, so we're going to create our viewpoint right in front of this kitchen island. Pretend that that's where we're standing. So I'm going to take this piece of paper and line it up with my T-square, and I'm going to cover that kitchen identification. And I'm just going to tape this down on my rough piece of paper here. And notice I'm not even lining up my paper. It doesn't really matter where the drawing is on your paper. And of course that makes me uncomfortable, but I'm doing it just because it does that. Trying to get myself to be a little less neurotic, because hand drafting is very particular. So let me get my triangle down here. And so the easiest way I can tell you to start is to block out the whole wall. That means including the floor, the ceiling, and the two side walls. So the way we draw an elevation is we simply bring lines down from our plan view. So in order to block out the entire view, I'm going to go to the inside wall and run a guideline down my page. And I'm going to go to the other inside wall. So this is going to be the width of our drawing. And then I'm going to create a floor. Our ceiling height is, hold on here, we're drawing in 1/4 inch scale, so it's going to be little. But our ceiling height is 9 feet 6. And so I'm going to take my scale and create a drawing as close to the floor plan, but still on the new sheet of paper. So here is 9 feet. Well, I'm going to go to 6 inches, so I'm at 9 feet 6 inches in 1/4 inch scale. So this now becomes the ceiling in my kitchen, and this becomes the floor. So now at least I know where I'm drawing inside of. The next thing I do is I bring down any lines that relate to the architecture. So I'll bring down lines of the door opening and a window if there was one, but there is not a window here. So I'm going to bring down the door lines, just put my very lightly because I know it's not going to the ceiling, so I don't have to run a whole line down, but I do have to come in then and measure the door height, which is 6 feet 8 inches. 6 feet. And then I have my door cutout opening blocked in. I'm just going to take off some of those long legs here because I'm going to put a frame around this door opening. Don't forget, you do have a erasing shield, which is very handy, and you do have a brush. I don't recommend using your hands, although I just did. Don't do that. You'll smear your ink. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to measure around the door opening 2 inches. Again, it's small, and when you get down to the size of work, you just have to make sure that they look the same. So I have to turn my scale upside down because I don't have room in front of me to measure. I have to go up 2 inches for the casing. All right, so there's my little marks, and they may or may not be exactly perfect, but I'm going to do my best to create some crisp line work. So since I know that my casing is going to be finished right here, you can see I've drawn these lines a little darker. And when I know that I'm just coming up to here, because you see when I pulled those lines down, I'm going to show you this, because when I pulled those lines down, I used my eyeballs to see about approximately how tall I would need to go with this line. So I didn't draw it the whole way and then have to erase a lot of it. Same thing on this side. You see I went a little beyond. But now I'm going to take my straight edge and pull it up there, and I'm going to draw in my casing. I'm going to come down below, darken it up a bit. Do I have a chip here? No. Must be under the drawing. And then I'm going to darken up my inside door line and just crisp up my outside door line. Notice I'm rolling my pencil as I turn it. I'm turning it so that I can keep a straight edge. That's a very crisp opening. So here we are, and we have our wall and our door opening, and it's framed in with the 2-inch wide piece of, typical flat casing. Now, I suggested that you create a kitchen overall height of 96 inches. So I'm going to measure, that's 8 feet. I'm going to measure, make a little mark there, and draw a very light guideline. These will be the top of my cabinets. And because I have cabinetry over here, I'm going to match the same height. I'm just going to make a little line over here because this cabinet on the side wall will also be included in this elevation view of this back wall because they hit that wall. So they become part of the elevation, and we'll draw the side view in a few minutes. But then I'm going to bring down, well, no, first I'm going to put in other heights. So I'm going to, the overall height of my cabinet is 34.5. So I'm going to find 33, 34. Oh my gosh, I need 34, yep, and a half. So I'm here. Then I'm going to have probably 3 feet to the top of my countertop. So you see I have 1.5 inches there. And then I go to 54 inches to the bottom, and that's 4 feet 6 inches to the bottom of my upper cabinets. Oh, use the brush. All right, good habits are good to have. How's that? So I'm just going to draw some light guidelines across here, and I'm going to put in a 4-inch high toe kick, but we're using Craftmade cabinet, and I noticed they have a 4.5-inch high toe kick. So we're going to use that. Remember I told you that appliances are somewhat adjustable between a 4-inch and a 4.5-inch high toe kick. So there's somewhat of an alignment, although you generally don't run your wood cabinetry toe kick across the dishwasher. That will have its own kick. So now we have all of our guidelines laid out. We have our countertop thickness, we have our toe kick. I know my countertop comes, that doesn't seem quite right. Hold on a minute. You always have to check your work because I'm looking here. Is that 18 inches? Yeah, it is. 18 inches. It just looks so slim. Typically, kitchen and bath drawings are drawn at 1/2 inch equals a foot. In architectural drawings, they really don't typically increase the drawing to that size because the level of detail is very little. For example, this would be something you would see. We're going to show a refrigerator here in a range, and we'll lay out our cabinets in between, but really that could be anything. And so in an architectural drawing, sometimes we just call those placeholders. So we know where the fridge is going and everything is going, but then this kind of drawing will go to a designer or a kitchen and bath specialist, and then they will fully detail everything out. Now remember I told you when we hit a wall with cabinetry, we have to put a piece of wood in there. It's just a little wood that's horizontal at the front, so it's empty behind it. But we call that a filler. Here I've drawn my filler at 1.5 inches. So I'm going to bring this line. I know where my wall cabinets are, right? So I'm going to use that as a guide because I can see them. And I'm going to use below my cabinet and above my toe kick to put in that filler line. Because the toe kick will go all the way to the wall, just like that, and sit below our countertop. Darkening these up so you can see them in the video better. So we've started there. Then there's a cabinet in position. All this dashed line here is the cabinet. The solid line, the continuous line, is the countertop overhang. And we have a 30-inch range in oven. Now notice I'm cutting right through the countertop and all of this because what I'm doing is setting something on the floor between these cabinets. So these lines will come down because it's a single piece that's going to get placed inside of this space, and it is your range. And I gave you the information, the specifications are in Canvas. So I'm just kind of erasing this so we can see that it's a space. Bringing that line in for myself. Yeah, you know. I'm a little crazy when it comes to the details. Okay, so now I have this cabinet. It's drawn here. It's small, so I'm going to leave it as a door. And then I have these cabinets. This line indicates the wall cabinet above, and this indicates the base cabinet below the countertop. Now, one thing we need to talk about is that when we're drawing an elevation in a kitchen, we are taking the roof off the house and looking down. So our cutting plane, or the place where we're cutting through our walls to look at, is actually above. It's actually at the roof. Generally, okay, so as I spoke to you before, we usually take our cutout for our floor plan. Our point of view is usually through the doors and windows so that we can see how they lay out. So that's probably about like halfway up a wall. But in this case, for kitchen design, that's a separate industry and they have their own specs. So this is how it gets drawn in a floor plan and an elevation. Then I'm going to come over here. I surrounded the refrigerator with a panel. So that panel is going to come all the way to the floor to capture and create an opening for the refrigerator, which does not have a countertop, right? Or a wall cabinet. So I'm erasing this line. It does have a toe kick, but I'm going to take it out of here so that we can draw that in or mention it freshly when we put our refrigerator in. Because what I want to draw for you right now is the refrigerator opening, the cutout. Sorry, but I'm a stickler. Okay, so these are in the 1/4 inch, they're very small. So it's a 3/4 inch panel that I'm putting in there. But on the front face, now I'm going to see if I can enlarge this for you. Even more, hold on. Okay, so you see that little, let me get my pencil. You see this little return right here, this little white space? This dash line is the refrigerator, but this little front, hold on. The front face right here is 1.5 inches wide. You may not be able to see it, but I'm telling you that it is. So I'm going to go just to the other side of this door that I have here, because that's what that'll look like. So there's about 1.5 inches, and then I'm coming to the outside end because I'm capturing the ends of my refrigerator so that it appears to be built in, but it's truly a freestanding counter depth refrigerator. Most freestanding refrigerators are deeper than counter depth. And I happen to remember, because I have those specs in my head already, that we wanted to leave 70 3/4 inches space, because the overall height of the refrigerator where the hinge is 69 3/4, and they want you to have 1 inch clearance above that. So that would make it 70 3/4. Well, I'm probably not going to get the 3/4 in, but I'm going to draw it somewhere around 70, between 70 and 71 here. So let's see, 6 feet is 72. So I'm going to be at 5 feet and almost there. So I've measured. I placed my line here. Now I'm drawing it in lightly because I want to show you how this works. I have a 36-inch space between 2.5 inch vertical framework, okay? So now what I need to do is I have 96, and I need to subtract this difference so I can figure out how big, or how tall rather, this cabinet needs to be. So I'm going to find my calculator, because I had it here just a second ago. Of course, now it goes missing in action. Okay. Thanks a lot for that. Well, how about my phone? Yeah. And where's my phone? Where did everything go? I don't know. All right, well, I'm going to have to do this myself. Now, since I know, because I'm experienced with this, that cabinetry heights are in increments of 3 inches, I am going to measure with my scale right now, although you should use your computer. And actually, I can do the math. Watch this. Let's see. So the overall height was 70 3/4. So that's 7.75. Remember, we have to change everything to decimals and you have that conversion. So I have 70 and 75 and I have 96 overall inches. So I am going to subtract old school. So what I have left is 25¼ inches overall for a cabinet. And I know my cabinets come in 3-inch increments height-wise, so I'm either going to go up to a 27 or down to a 24 and have a little more space because the 27 is not going to fit in there. So I'm going to pick a 24-inch high wall cabinet, and I'm going to look for one that's 24 inches deep so that it sits at the front with the cabinetry and it helps make the refrigerator look like it's built in. So now I'm going to go back with my scale, and you can find that information. You have the specifications in your book. So I'm going to take my 1/4 inch again. Where am I? Okay. And I'm going to measure from the top of my cabinets, which were 8 feet, and I know that 24 inches is 2 feet, so I'm going to count 1, 2 feet. So I'm just a little higher than my original area, and that'll be a nice fit. It'll look very good in there. So now I can really press on that line because I know that's my cabinet height. And I know down here is enough room for my refrigerator to fit in. So these panels will capture the refrigerator on both sides and allow it to appear like it is built in because we selected a counter depth refrigerator, which makes it about 24 inches deep. So if this is 36 wide, I know that half of 36 is 18. That's 1 foot 6 inches. I'm marking this off. I know I made 2 marks. I'm going in between them because that's really where the mark needs to be, in between them. So now I have 2 doors and a refrigerator opening below. So you can just slide that puppy right in, okay? Very good. Okay, I'm just saying very good to me, right? So this would be the area above your cooking surface, needs to have a hood area. And if you don't have, code does not require you to have a ventilation fan if you are using an electric cooktop surface. But if you're using gas, then code requires you to have a fan that will vent the off gases outside. So we're going to put in a hood above here, but we're going to hide the hood inside of a cabinet so it's not a feature of the kitchen. But the hood has to sit above. So let's draw I'm going to draw in our. You'll have to measure it, and I don't have it with me, but I think, it's around 36 inches high, and then I think I read that it was 41 or something off the floor. It has a little back on it. It's kind of, might be a little retro, but it's a modern retro. This is where all of the controls are, against the back edge. So then I'll just make a countertop line, and then I'll usually just go a little bit above it like that to show my range surface, right? And then I can put the countertop line heavier, roll your pencil, heavier in between because I know where it starts and stops now. So we're starting our little elevation drawing. Yeah. Oh, I don't want it to fall off, so hold on. Okay, there we are. So here's my drawing. Maybe I can make it just a little bigger so it's on the page. Yeah, okay. So here we have cabinetry from here to here, and this dimension, if I remember correctly, I thought it was 4 feet, but it's not. It's 4 feet 9 inches. 4 feet 9 inches. So you have 48 inches plus 9 inches. 9 and 8 is 17. Carry the 1. You have 57 inches right here that needs to be broken down into different cabinetry widths. And that's going to be up to you. I'm leaving that to you. You'll just subtract cabinetry, different widths of cabinetry, using the 3-inch increments that they're offered in, and lay it out here. You might want drawers across the top. You might want doors or more drawers. That's up to you, and that's where the catalog comes in handy to see the different configurations. So I'm going to just block out. We're going to keep this one wall cabinet up here as a skinny 12-inch wall cabinet. That's what this distance is. So I'm going to put in my fillers so they're more distinct. Notice how I find my way by putting my pencil on the, and then this might have the same height of toe kick, but it comes down to the floor, so it breaks the wood base that we put in there. This is our floor line. Oops! What'd I do? Jaya. Oh, I think my floor line was crooked when I first drew it. You see? That's weird. All right, well, I might have made a mistake. So I did. Let me just check that right now. Huh. That's very interesting, but not to confuse everyone, I guess I'm going to erase this other floor line that I had in there. Sorry to confuse you right now. But it just shows you, you know, I've been doing this for 40 years and, you know, I'm still, I also don't have a video editor, so I have to keep talking while I do this because I can't go back in and like cut that part out. So if you're wondering, that is the answer. Okay, so here is my floor, here's my refrigerator space, here's my oven in there, here's my door. My door is swinging from here. So online in Canvas, I gave you a little video to help you figure out whether you're using a right-hand door or a left-hand door. That does not matter here because I can see that it swings and that the swing of the door is, I don't know, I'm just eyeballing this center, is going like this. So it's hinged at this back wall. And then our hardware usually sits about 3 feet up from the floor. So that's 1, 2, 3. So then I just come in and I make a little mark, right? And then I'll make a little, because I like a lever handle, so I'll just fake it out. It's not going to be very big, right? So I'll just put in something that looks like, you know, the door handle. So then we know. And then maybe there's a little escutcheon behind it. I don't know. Don't do that freehand. You could use a circle template. But anyway, this is pretty much how we block in the elevation. So what I'm going to do is start drawing in the side view. Okay, so this you can go in and block. You can figure out your doors here. You can add hardware if you want to your doors. But remember, this is, I'm going to say that we're going to use like a pull to open the door with, right? So you want to, first of all, use your tools, please. Don't do what I do. Do what I say. But notice that your handle for your door needs to be down so you can and I can and everybody can reach the handle. I see a lot of times first-timers start to center the handle on the door, but you're not realizing that this is up at 6 feet tall. Same thing with doors and drawers. If you don't center your handle, so you have to bend over down into the middle of the drawer to open it up. And the best thing to do is look at your kitchen. After I explain all this to you, go into your own kitchen and examine what you have there, and you'll learn a lot. It's the best way to learn. So I'm going to bring down my wall cabinet line, and I'm thinking that I'm going to have it be the same height over there. This looks, I see, I moved my drawing. Okay, well, I'm going to come down, I'm going to line it up with the wall cabinets across there. I know I have a countertop coming across here, and what I'm going to do is measure it. I know my cabinet is 24 inches, 2 feet deep, so I'm going to measure 24 inches. I'm going to have a little overhang, and I'm going to have a little recessed toe. So I'm going to bring this toe kick line lightly over. I'm going to bring down the front of my cabinet, light guideline. This was my toe kick. I know I can do a hard line there because I know where it sits now. And I can do a hard line this way. I have the thickness of my countertop, but it really just hangs over the face. I don't see it. So what you're drawing is a silhouette. Oh, I see what I did. Silhouette. Oops, that's, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so, you know what, my T-square wasn't straight, and that's a problem because that has to get fixed. Hold on, yeah, okay. Well, you see, you bring your lines down and you bring them across. That's what I'm going to show you right now because, but you can see it's just a profile view. So you have the little countertop overhang. It really only overhangs a 1/2 inch. That doesn't even look like a 1/2 inch, but the thing is, when you're drawing things so small, sometimes we have to exaggerate lines or pull them further away so we can see the detail. Okay, because nobody is going to measure off this drawing to build this kitchen. What they're going to do is take all these dimensions and measurements, go out and field check everything, and then make sure that all this fits in using computer software. But for you right now, this is your drawing of your back wall of elevation, and then you'll go and you'll turn your drawing once you've completed this little guy. You'll turn the drawing, your floor plan, so that, oops, excuse me, this whole thing is coming off my table. You'll turn the plan like this, line it up. Excuse me, this is completely off my table now, this plastic mat I'm working on. You'll line up your drawing for this rear wall, and then you'll put your paper down like you did before, and you'll pull these lines down, and you'll put in your cabinet heights and all of that. Now, if you want, I drew over this other section here with my notes, but if you were to, and you could do, because this is really how elevations work, you could put this other drawing that you've done, right? This has my first drawing, and those notes that are right there, I'm going to draw over right now to show you how you could go about putting this together. If you put your other drawing, your new drawing, I'm pulling this up, below your old drawing, I'm not even going to tape this down. Okay, so now I have this guy in here. Move this paper over to a clean part of your paper. You can bring all of these lines from your kitchen and everything across, because you will have, this is a base cabinetry and wall cabinetry and a window and a sliding door. So the whole thing about elevations and orthographic projection is that you bring things down in your drawing and you bring other things across, and that way you're only measuring once for the height, but it's going to work in several drawings. You can use that information, right? So you pull it over, pull it down, and create your drawing. Voila! Sorry it's a long video, but you can stop and start if you want. I'm cool with that. And if you have any questions, as always, please send me an email and I'll answer you right away. Thanks so much.